We are live. Welcome to another installment of the Final Scoop podcast. My name is Robert Schinetsky, the supplement engineer. Joining me as always is my international band of brothers and industry insiders, and Robert Samborsky, Apollon Nutrition, Lukasz Rytkowski, Intelligent Prometeus Intelligent Sports Technology, Shane Smith, Stack.com. Here we are, my friends. Happy New Year to all of you joining us for this live stream of the Final Scoop podcast, episode number 27, first installment of 2021. 2020 can go fuck itself in the rear end multiple times sideways. We are here better than ever. Post up any comments, questions, queries, quips, smart aleck remarks you've got for us, and we will get to anything and everything over the course of the next hour and a half, 2 hours that we are here. Let us know where you're tuning in from. You got any supplement questions, training questions, nutrition questions, which way Lukasz likes to sleep at night, on the back, on the stomach, on his side, whatever you got. We'll get everything and anything here. And if you like what we're doing, leave us a comment below. Give us a thumbs up, like, comment, subscribe. And if you listen to this on any podcast service, please give us a 5-star review. That helps us climb up in the little algorithms there and spread the good word to all people tuning in for supplement-related information. All right, my friends. Sales pitch is over. Welcome. Happy New Year. How are each of you doing?
Good, good. Happy New Year, guys.
Happy fucking New Year.
Shane, you were the first one to see. You were the first one to see the New Year ring in. How was 2021 and leaving 2020 in the rearview mirror for y'all in New Zealand?
It was fat. It was fat, as in I had a lot of carbohydrates, and I am now fat.
How fat? How much? How many pounds did you put on?
I probably went in maybe 8, 9.
Oh wow!
I was in kilos, but yeah, probably in that realm.
Okay.
But I mean, I believe, or I'm hoping that all goes, maybe at least 7 or 8 of it in about, I don't know, a week.
So you're back to your regular thing, regular diet?
Yes.
Oh.
It's just the water.
Oh man, now my microphone is low.
I know, now you're sounding like you're coming in from underwater. What did you do? Before you had all this reverb and now you've got like nothing.
Bitch, I've got Lukasz's internet.
Lukasz, what's I know what most people do on a normal year for New Year's Eve. What is it is like in Poland? Do y'all do like a ball dropping or anything, like fireworks, anything like that? Or is it like, hey, it's just another day and we're gonna go, eat our kielbasa and play some polkas?
You know what? This year was a bit, I would say, tragic and unique at the same time, because our government decided to block everything. So from 28th December up to 17th January, all public places, such as like pubs, restaurants, they're all closed due to you know what? So, and also they decided to block the Sylvester parties. So on the New Year's day, everything was blocked. So people couldn't go to the streets. Everything was just like, it was like, only the police was on the streets. People couldn't move anywhere else. So there was all patrols everywhere. So basically my New Year's Eve was like 9 p.m., go to bed. I woke up on the 1st January at 5 a.m. and did my cardio. so yeah, that was my party, man.
There you go. What's going on, Park? Tuning in from South Carolina. Kazimon, hello. I believe Kazimon's name is Brooke. So, hi, Brooke. How's it going? Tickle that like button. Yes, make sure to hit the like button. All right. First question up for the panel. Throwing this out there, my mom wants to try lifting heavier in the gym, but she has pain in her neck from an old car accident, osteoarthritis. Anything that can help in the gym? Anybody want to tackle this?
Nah,
Who wants to go first?
I say Robert.
Thank you. I appreciate it, Shane. I think that definitely, anything that has to do with injuries has to be supervised by a medical professional, without a doubt. Just in case, as a precaution, especially, when it comes to neck, anything pretty much we do involves neck, whether it's leg workouts, even squats or something like that. Like, I don't know what in particular your mom does in terms of like her gym program or her exercise routine. But nevertheless, if she's capable to go to the gym, and again, I'm not a medical professional, so I kind of hesitate to answer these questions. I would make sure that she takes her time warming up, whether it's on a treadmill or something cardio, just to get her blood going and to make sure she warms up pretty good. Probably stretches, but again, with the neck, it probably has to be something that the doctor would advise, because not everything works, and potentially even dangerous, I would say. And then, I'm just guessing here, but I would say light weights. And if it doesn't feel uncomfortable, then it's okay. I think any workout is better than no workout, and is obviously beneficial. Um, I think that when it comes to injuries, and that's again personal opinion, I don't think people should stay away from the gym. I've seen guys, like I had a quad tear, and I would still go to the gym on crutches, and I would do upper body workouts. I've seen guys with broken arms, and they would still go to the gym and do some sort of exercises that they can. It's probably mostly cardio, but at the same time, again, nothing is worse than having an injury, not training for a couple of months, and then heading back to the gym. And that's basically like starting all over again. I think any sort of exercise is better than nothing. So as long as it's supervised by a doctor and the doctor gives a green light as a precaution, I think that nice and easy, maybe even a personal trainer, or I don't know if your mom lives close to you, maybe you can help her out. It's always good to have somebody to spot and somebody to help out just in case. But I am, again, personal opinion, I'm all for it. I think that she should definitely train if she can. And I only think that she's going to benefit from it. Anyone else?
I can only chip in and say that, if the injury is not that bad, and as Robic said, we are not like a doctor or any medical professional, so we can't like say anything, specific, but we only can like make some suggestions, and do our recommendations. But what I would say is definitely, if she can move, even if she can, like, for example, do some walks after every meal, that's gonna be a great tool, just to stay active, just to keep her mind occupied. Also, like, being active helps distress the body, and also helps with inflammation. So I think that it's gonna be greatly beneficial for her. And as well, if she can go to the gym, do some lightweight sessions, even like a full body workout or anything like that, that's gonna be perfect for her. But I would start with slow, do some maybe mobility workouts on the YouTube. She can find like thousands of training sessions, routines, that she can do now, even 20 minutes per day is going to help her out tremendously. So I would definitely invest in something like this and progress from there. Slow progress is better than no progress.
I agree with Lukasz 100%, because I also, I'm reading it again. It says lifting heavier at the gym. And that's a key point that I think I've missed. This is more than just, an aerobic training. This is lifting heavier. By lifting heavier, I'm all for it, as long as it's what Lukasz said, progressive. If she feels she can do it, then by all means, obviously I will keep the form as strict as perfect as possible. If she can do heavier, she should. If she can't, or there is pain, or there is any aggravation, she should stop immediately. That's my opinion.
I would echo all those things. Obviously, check with some kind of osteopath, physical therapist, all that. And then going into that, if this is your mom, I'm assuming, Brooke, that you're 20s somewhere, so your mom's late 40s, early 50s, and that, I mean, she doesn't need to be going for like a 3-rep max on the deadlift at 50 plus years old, or even like something as low as 5-rep max. Lifting heavier is all relative. So I mean, keep her in like the upper end of the range spectrum, where there's less chance for there's inherent risk with any kind of physical activity. Shit, you can roll your ankle just walking in the mailbox. But for lifting heavier, stay in like the 10 to 15 rep range. You don't need to be dropping below that, especially if she's that age. Just, get in there, get her some movement, maybe start her on some machines too, or some cable stuff, just because that removes some of the stability requirements and maybe could help offload any potential stress that's going to be transferred to the spine or neck areas. But obviously always, check with the doctor first and go slow, go slow, ease into it. You can always kick things into high gear later on. But tell her to, go work with the training wheels for a little bit.
I do the process where basically find out what's injured, go to the doctor, and usually he just tells me, this is what hurts, and I go, is this going to affect this? And he'll say yes and no. I pretty much do everything around it. And then I will maybe slightly touch it, because she said it's her neck, so I mean, there's probably still a lot she can do outside of the neck. But the worst part is, I found injuries where you don't really feel like it's a problem, and then you push it a little bit, and then you hurt it even worse, and then you're back to square one. I mean, it's a bitch, so I would definitely see like a physio or a doctor or someone to at least figure out what you can and actually shouldn't do.
Agreed. Happy New Year, Xanda and Dito.
Happy.
Can't hear. Yeah. T-Bone, Shane, you're still coming in underwater. If there's anything else you can do,
Damn it.
rebooting or re-syncing your microphone or something.
We actually can hear you, just like a little bit on
Yeah, it's just muffled.
Yeah.
Working on form.
Fund me account for Shane now.
Yeah.
How about now?
Park, thoughts on the
Still
quality of Nature's Truth organic beetroot powder?
It's just too loud. Fucking no.
Oh,
Actually, I think it's fine now.
It's getting better now.
Yeah.
it's getting a bit better.
Whatever the fuck happened, I don't know.
Yeah,
Oh,
no,
no,
it's
it's
fine.
better.
I think it's fine.
Okay, so
Nature's
here I'm going to
Truth
pull up the organic beetroot powder supplement facts here.
Is it just going to be
Yeah, please
beetroot?
do.
Yeah, so we've got this. We've got organic beetroot powder, Nature's Truth, gluten-free, non-GMO, all the nice, clickbaity sales jargon right there. DNA-tested
what's-
botanicals. That's fancy shit.
What's the dose?
Maybe Park can say why he wants to take this supplement.
Yeah,
What's
it's
the
5
point?
grams of
Oh.
organic beetroot powder, which is, what is that, 10 times more than you're going to find in any pump pre-workout, because most pre-workouts have 500 milligrams in there at most.
Isn't there like a different standardization for certain?
Yeah, and that's
nitrate? I know
the
it seems to
problem.
vary, but do they list that?
No, they don't list the standardization for nitrate. I mean, it's a generic one, and it's going to vary, fairly significantly between batches. So you're going to get
5% or some shit.
Yeah, I mean, you're lucky if the nitrate content is 5% at most.
Yeah, I thought it was like 1, 2 sometimes.
Yeah, and most of it is that. So, I mean, I'm not going to deny the fact you're going to get some, interesting little fun polyphenols, antioxidants, all that kind of stuff. But I mean, if you're buying this for like a bunch of nitrates, a high nitrate content, I don't really recommend that, just because it's such a low, paltry amount. You're not going to necessarily get those pronounced nitric oxide benefits like you would from drinking 16 ounces or 500 mils of beetroot juice, which is what they typically use in any of the studies showing that beetroot has beneficial impacts on either exercise performance or cardiovascular function, nitric oxide production, blood flow, fatigue resistance, things like that.
Robert Park just mentioned that he wants to take it for energy and lowering blood pressure. So I think it's going to be good,
Yeah, I just, at the same time, we don't know what the standardization of the nitrate is. So yeah, are you going to get some kind of beneficial? I would say, yeah, you might have some benefit with it, but there's other better, probably cheaper quality beetroot powders out there. Because how much is this? It is, you can find it on Amazon. Let me see. It's $16 on Amazon. That's not terrible. Let me see what else they got.
And it's for 500 grams?
It's for, I think that's what it is. It's for 700 and something grams, and there's 35 servings per container. Energy and low. Yeah, you could also look at bulk supplements, beetroot powder. That's fine. Super Beets is another one. And Super Beets, I think, actually lists the standardization of their nitrates in there. Maybe not. Another thing to check out is Super Spinach by Nova Farm. I think they do that one if you're looking for something that's in the same vein to get the nitrates. Let me see. Yeah, a Nova Farm Super Spinach powder is another option to go and check that out.
If I can recommend, in UK there's a brand Chemical Warfare, and they offer kidney support formula, and it contains a decent amount of beetroot powder. as well as astragalus. So that's a really nice combo. And I gave it to my mom, she's now on chemo, so it helps her a lot. So I think that's a good option.
Yeah, I don't know if you're going to notice much from energy. I mean, outside of like just improved circulation might give you some better energy and better ATP production and stuff like that. But you can also look at, you can go with 300 to 400 milligrams of grapeseed extract standardized for high anthocyanin count is a good option. You could also just buy any basically like stim-free pump pre-workout that's got citrulline malate and or nitrates in it. Something like Apollon's Bare Knuckle would be great. A Nova Farms Nova Pump would be a solid choice. Inspired's FSU is another really good one. Anything that's got some really good things like that, or something that has nitrosogene, all of those are good for improving blood flow, nitric oxide production, endothelial function, and lowering blood pressure. Any and all of those are good. Okay. Here's a good one that nobody's really brought up before. NAD plus supplements. Have you all experimented with any of those? And if so, what do you think of them?
I would think this has come from the Genius thing earlier this week, the Genius Eternal. I don't know if you saw it, Robert, but I mean, it's a different form of what's that one the one that's in Niagen?
Yeah, nicotinamide riboside.
Yeah.
And they've got is it NVN? I can't remember what
NMN.
Yeah, that was close.
Yeah.
Somewhere in the realm. But like, obviously it's not the same thing. But yeah, that one, I had a couple people hit me up about that when Genius launched it. They were like, "Oh, this, it's an interesting space, anti-aging to get into." But yep. Genius's price is $130. That's with a deal. That's 200 down to 130.
Yeah.
I was like, even if the ingredients are all good. 130 is that's a hefty price to pay for anything. I wouldn't even pay that for a pre-workout, let alone although the claim on I did like the claim on one of the ingredients. It wasn't that one. It was the Talos something, and it decreased cellular age or something by 8.5 years, which I thought was a really cool kind of claim to be able to make to count up that exact and precise amount.
Yeah, and I need to go and do some more research on the actual ingredients, because I got a question from Devin, who is a regular tune in here, and he shot me the thing of it. And so it can increase the length of telomeres, which would decrease your telomeres age, because as we get older, there's a gradual shortening of the telomeres, and as the shorter we get, it's associated and shown linked with increased aging. So if you can prevent the shortening of the telomeres going on, and for the listeners, I've got an article on telomeres and some anti-aging stuff over on tigerfitness.com that I wrote, 2 years ago now, that you can go check that out. But this is something I definitely need to get into more. I don't know if any supplement is worth over $100. I mean, I'm going to really need some really, really hard clinical evidence to warrant that. I mean, same thing with, Lycopro's 1-a-day formula, whatever the hell it was called, that $147 formula. Like when MFit launched that $70+ recovery formula, you can't charge that much for supplements. I need something more substantial than that. I mean, it's just, these are dietary supplements, people. We need some more research before. I'm not just going to go off on rat studies and whatnot. I need some more, human stuff.
I needed someone's grandma to take this and then look like a mom.
Well, I think when it comes to price, I think Robert is right in terms of, I think like on average, supplements cost, average anywhere between even as low as $2-3. I'm talking about the wide spectrum of supplements, because that's just the truth. I've never seen a supplement that to manufacture cost more than $25-30. And I mean it, I've put up some pretty intense and packed and loaded formulas, but that's just a hard fact. I haven't seen not one that is over. Typically they all under $20, even under $15, but there's some of the very, very much loaded ones. $20 would be a stretch, I would say. So I'm just gonna say $25 maybe the most expensive, altogether. So, at the end of the day, I understand that the brands are selling, say, to retailers or distributors, so they're making maybe 100% profit. So even at that point, those supplements cost $30-$40 at the most. Then if you're charging the consumer, if you want to make even 100% profit, it's a stretch, we're talking about $70-$80, which is expensive already. Anything more than that is already, it's really, really, really out there. And I just don't think Robert is right. There is no justification unless it's something that, I don't know, saves lives or some shit like that. Something that's really, really proven and has something behind it that is so fucking needed. And, that we cannot be without it. But, I agree with that. And speaking of AmFit, I remember that product. Just by looking at it, I think Cellucor also had one of the C4s that cost like $70 or something like that. Yeah. I mean, let's get real. Yeah,
the most expensive supplement I'd ever shared.
The Cellucor C4 was called Extreme or some shit. It was like a fancy name to it, and was that
Cellucor Dynasty?
Maybe that, yeah. It was $70, I think, when you bought it from GNC. And I looked at the formula, and again, I remember because I was very, very interested in that. I remember TJ doing the review. I would assume that formula would cost somewhere around $10 at the most. $10, especially considering the volumes that they buy, because, it's such a big company. So obviously, the more you buy, the less it costs. But I would go on a limb and say $10 at the most. At the most. You're charging $70 retail. There is one thing of making money, and there is a completely different thing when you're just robbing people.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that's what Genius here is doing with their latest supplement. I'm not saying that, and I don't want the listeners to get confused at that at all, because I like what Genius is doing. These ingredients are expensive, and Genius tends to use predominantly branded ingredients in their formulas, which, I love Genius Joy. That has gotten me through more than one holidays with in-laws and whatnot, and a bunch of little mutants running around and everything else. So
I love their formulations. What is it called? The one that's for hydration?
Electrolytes? Genius Electrolytes?
Yeah, I love that product. I love that product.
So, there's good stuff there. The anti-aging segment of supplementation, a lot of the stuff coming out so far has been only in cell cultures and rats. The human research is underway, and so there's some studies on the NAD plus right now. There's some on NMN going on. There's one early human study done on Japanese men showing that it is bioavailable in different doses. But, the anti-aging effects for most of this stuff is just been shown thus far in animal models. We've seen that NMN and the nicotinamide riboside can lead to increased elevations of NAD plus in the body. And so, as a result, you would think that by extension, since there's a pretty significant drop-off of NAD levels in the body between the ages of 40 and 60, taking a supplement that would replenish those stores would have some anti-aging effects. We just don't have the data on it yet. Until I've got more concrete data, I don't know if I'm going to be spending, upwards of $100. Plus, what kind of, real-world effects is this going to have? Sure, it says it, may lengthen your telomeres or prevent the shortening of your telomeres by 7 years. But that's your biological age. What does it look like in terms of real life? Are you going to have less wrinkles? Are you going to feel more youthful? When you're 67, are you going to perform like a 60-year-old? When you're 50, are you going to perform like a 43-year-old? How is that going to work?
That's the thing, is you're not really going to, based on that, obviously, it's not going to decrease your age, but it's just going to limit how well you age. So really, arguably, you can't really know until you get to 50 and be like, oh, I don't look 50, but then you don't know because you might have been not looking 50 anyway.
But then again, you probably would have to take that supplement now on a regular basis, day to day.
Exactly.
$130 for 7 years is a lot of money.
Oh yeah. Well, and the other thing is, like, how much impact does this have versus if you're living a healthy lifestyle? So you're not smoking, you're limiting your alcohol intake to the recommended guidelines, or you're avoiding it at all. You're exercising regularly, you're eating a good diet, you're getting enough sleep, you're keeping your stress in control. If you're doing all of that already, those 5 things, you're doing all of that already, how much more impact is some of these life extension or these anti-aging supplements really going to have? Is it actually going to have an effect, or is it going to be more noticeable in somebody like the unhealthy populations, the diabetics, the obese individuals, the people that don't sleep well, that don't exercise, the sedentary people? Is it going to have a more pronounced effect in them, and where it's not, and might potentiate some benefits for them, whereas the otherwise healthy person that's already taking care of themselves, it might have a negligible or very modest impact at all?
I still think that
I mean, I like the idea. I
this
just
product is
would have liked-
dedicated more to like premium crowd, and I think that
Oh yeah.
if you're looking for something that's gonna enhance your like performance and daily lifestyle and boost your like productivity throughout the day and throughout the month and year, I think that you can definitely find better alternatives that are way more cheap, way more affordable. For example, I would give you like an example. Curcumin. It's probably one of my top supplements out there, and the research on it's tremendous. And you can get, for example, liposomal, curcumin,
Yeah.
if you want to have a super bioavailable form, and it's gonna boost your performance, your productivity levels and everything, and more health aspects of your life. So I would go for something like this, or astaxanthin. That's another compound that is good. Omega-3 fatty fish oils, those kind of things. They're cheap, but they're very effective.
On the note of the most expensive supplement, the one I found, I'm pretty sure I'd seen more. But if you remember Performix back in the day, their version 2 of Super Male T.
Yeah, I was gonna say their test booster. That shit was super expensive.
$210 at GNC.
Yep, I remember writing about that way back. I think I was
That
in
was,
2015 or 2016.
Yeah, 2016.
Yeah.
Wow.
Two proprietary blends, 750 milligrams. One of them was 325, with a few vitamins and minerals. Yeah, that was a beast. I remember another one. It's bugging me. I thought it was one of the earlier P6s from Cellucor, like way back.
I remember one more
P6
supplement
HGH
from Blackstone Labs, and it was very very expensive as well.
None of
It
them.
was IGF-1
I've only ever
stack.
seen two that break the 200 barrier.
Yeah, isn't it IGF-1? I think it was IGF-1.
Yeah, High Tech released a version of it as well. Well, that's because
Well,
High Tech does, Blackstone. So
$200 is, I mean, that's unreal.
IGF, I think was, I don't know, maybe I was wrong, but I think it was like $60, $70, $80, something like that.
yeah, it's very, very expensive. You're welcome, Park.
SST1 kit. It was GH and IGF-1 stack.
I mean, if we're getting into stacks, again, Performix, I mean, they did some beautiful box sets over the years.
Do they still exist?
Yeah, I mean, they took the intended approach. They lowered their pricing, came down more mainstream. But back in the day, man, they had some, and they put them in glass bottles as well.
Oh, wow.
Take my money.
Oh man, I mean, when they sent me some samples, I was like, "Holy shit! You know what? This does feel like $100. I applaud you for that."
God damn,
And,
man.
and they would.
But even though it feels like $100, would you spend it?
I mean, I was raised in a different crowd, man. I remember I had one of I think it was the Omega-3, came in glass bottle, cushioned box. I think it was a stack. I think there was a stack, if I remember. I was like, God damn it. This is like Beets in supplements. It's amazing. I mean, again, I wouldn't spend the money, but yeah. It's nice. It makes you feel
Premium.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Thorne Research Multivitamin Elite AM PM. Are they worth the money? It depends. How much do you feel like spending on a multivitamin? How good is your diet? We can get into the label, but that's something to think about before you really go into this. Is like anytime you're looking at a multivitamin, I always look at this as like icing on the cake. So, if you're somebody that's eating a shitty diet, I don't care if you're spending $200 on a multivitamin. It's still not going to take the place of eating enough fruits, vegetables, meats, and all that each day. This is like the icing on the cake to kind of fill everything in. That being said, there are shitty vitamins on the market. There are decent quality multivitamins on the market. This on their website is $65
Whoa.
For an AM and a PM formula. It's NSF certified for sports. So if you're a drug tested athlete, this is going to be clean.
I don't think I've ever seen a multivitamin that had anything to worry about, to be honest.
Yeah, so there's something you can do for a litmus test for the You can look at the forms of vitamin B12. You can look at the folate content. You can look at vitamin B6, and the magnesium content. And so obviously they're using premium forms of all of that. So the methylcobalamin is the more bioavailable form. The P5P for vitamin B6, the L5-methyl tetrahydrofolate is the better form of that. Magnesium is Atrax. It's not magnesium oxide, which has something like 5 to 10% bioavailability. So
Chelate, so
yeah, and it's got some good stuff for Lukasz here. We got the curcumin phytosome.
Boom.
How much curcumin do you take each day, Lukasz?
1 gram.
And it's what, a 95% standard, or so it's a gram of turmeric standardized to 95% curcuminoids.
Exactly.
Okay, so yeah. I mean, this is decent. You're getting some good stuff here. The lutein, it's a decent antioxidant. Boron, that's a good trace mineral. Green tea phytosome. I don't know if you're going to get much from 75 milligrams of green tea extract.
Boron, probably one of the best test boosters, to be honest.
Yeah, and then here's so then they've got this Magnolia officinalis. This is kind of like a calming ingredient here because we've seen that used in Glaxon Serenity.
Gotta say, pretty stacked label. So if you got money,
$60.
Yeah, I mean, for something this, you could easily go get Glaxon's multivitamin, which is just as good quality and a whole lot cheaper.
Yeah.
Or even Inspired.
Yeah.
That's another good one.
Yep. Both of those, you're not going to end up spending $65 on it, and you're not going to have to take an AM and a PM formula.
I was watching Doug Miller's video, and he had this question. Someone was asking, why don't you use, I can't remember the vitamin he was referencing. He said, why don't you use the higher quality form of the specific vitamin for his core multi? And his core multi is, for core, it's pretty well priced. I think it's like 30 something bucks. And he replied, he says, look, he didn't want to add anything that would potentially change the price. And when they revamped the entire line, he said they thought about switching to one of the higher quality forms of that specific ingredient. And he said, flat out said, he's like, I don't think you're going to notice the difference. and I like that approach because even though on paper, it probably would be or is known as the more expensive high quality form, his reasoning was very much that, I don't want to raise the price if people who buy it are not going to notice a damn thing.
Yeah.
I was curious on a lot of those because I've taken a lot of different multis. I can honestly say I've never really noticed the difference between some of the more premium $40, $50 ones versus $20, $30 that I usually take.
Right.
So I just thought it was an interesting concept. I liked his approach to it, that he was just more or less just kind of like, if you remember, way back when Lane Norton did his carbon pre-workout, and everyone said, why didn't you put beta, I think it was beta-alanine, I'm pretty sure it was beta-alanine, he's like, why didn't you put that in there? And he said, look, man, it's not that I don't think it works, it's just I saw ingredients that would work better for the price that they cost, and he wanted, and that just didn't make the cut. So I like that approach from Doug. I thought it was interesting. And I actually have had his multi, had it last month. But yeah, I probably would never spend $50-$60 on a multi.
It's not worth it, I don't think. I mean, there's too many other as good formulated, as decent quality ones that are going to fit the bill for what you need. PES True Multi is another good one that can be thrown in there. I mean, there's so many affordable ones that don't go waste your money on this $60 multivitamin.
For many years, I was taking Now Foods Special 2.
Yeah.
Pretty solid formula, so I would definitely recommend it. And the price was also very, very good. Very affordable.
Or T-Bone, I got a better idea. If you want to spend $60, spend $30 on one of the multivitamins we recommended, and then send the other $30 to us. We can do that.
Boom.
Ian,
Mike for Shane.
There we go. Supplement I noticed the most is lion's mane. 1.5 grams to my morning shake. 100% improved my mental clarity and focus. I love lion's mane.
Honestly,
I
love
sent
the
you.
name
I sent you
more than I
some,
like the
so
ingredient.
you will be happy.
I've used it a bit, and yeah, I do like the name. I remember when it first came out, I was like, "There's actual fucking ingredient called lion's mane." And then I
Yeah.
looked up, and I was like, "Oh, okay." And then they said it was the mushroom that looked like a lion's mane. I was like, "Bullshit!" Oh my
Yeah.
god, it actually does look like a lion's mane.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Good
I
on you.
take 1.5 to sometimes up to 3 grams a day, and it's either sometimes it's a mix of mycelium and the fruiting body, or sometimes it's just one or the other, depending on what I'm taking there. But yeah, man, there's so many benefits. Like uh, in rat studies, at least, it's been shown to reverse the effects of Alzheimer's and dementia. Stimulates nerve growth factor in the brain, so it can help repair. It's one of the neuropeptides in the brain that is responsible for the growth, repair, and maintenance of all the neurons. And up there, I notice, kind of like most of the benefits are from prolonged use. So like you take it daily and it kind of compounds on itself. But I noticed something like the same thing with neurofactor. Like if I take a large enough dose of lion's mane, and maybe it's just a placebo kind of effect, but if I take a large enough dose of it, my brain feels, like it's electrified, like it's turbocharged and it's going. It's been ramped up a lot. So I just
By large meaning how much?
over a gram.
Okay. Because
So I
you
give
know
it
what?
to
I notice. I especially notice when I'm stacking the lion's mane with Reishi, I'm super calm, and I'm like, it puts me in this, nice mood, especially before bedtime. It
Mhm.
gives me, this like, low stress type of a feeling. I can like chill, relax, just like focus on my thing. Before going to bed. Just like this like it's I think it's better than like smoking a joint or something like this, but
I
it's
can't
pretty
relate. I've never actually smoked a joint, so I can't relate to the sensation of that. But I could equate it to a glass of bourbon, maybe.
uh, yeah.
Yeah, lion's mane's incredible. I've never heard of people getting headaches going with super large doses of lion's mane. I personally haven't experienced it. And Lucas, I wonder if Rishi's doing more of the calming there than the lion's mane, or if it's the
Yeah,
combination. Because I mean,
Rishi,
both of the I was gonna say
Rishi,
both of them are adaptogenic mushrooms, so they've got calming properties, the ability to modulate the body's stress response and the neurotransmitters to help bring you up or bring you down depending on where you are.
yeah, from all the mushrooms, Rishi has the most calming effect, from all of them, and Rishi also keeps in deep sleep mode. So especially before your bedtime, take a bigger amount of Rishi mushrooms, and you will sleep like a baby, and you won't wake up, So plus, once you wake up in the morning, you don't feel like drowsy or anything like this. So I love the feeling, after the nighttime, So yeah, I definitely recommend, stacking it as well with lion's mane.
How large of a dose are you taking? And is it the mycelium or is it the fruiting body?
It's a combination of mycelium and the body, and it's 1 gram.
1 gram. Okay, and you take that an hour before bed or 30 minutes before bed or something?
Yes, hour before bed. Yeah, exactly.
Interesting. Like I've read up on some of the other benefits of Reishi as far as like cardiovascular health, anti-cancer, immune support, and all that stuff. I haven't come across too much for sleep data. I'm gonna have to go look into that. That's interesting.
Yeah, as far as sleep, it's a king. But as far in regards to like other like health benefits, I would recommend other mushrooms such as like chaga or shiitake. Those kind of mushrooms have such a tremendous benefits on human body. So I would go with these. Spread them throughout the day. But as far as like Rishi, stack it before bed.
Yeah. And then, do you have a preferred brand that you would recommend to people use, or just kind of get whatever?
You know what? Here in Poland, we got some sources, so I'm buying the bulk powders basically. So you can buy a bulk like 500 grams pouch of each mushroom, and you can have like mycelium or a body. It depends what you want. So I'm basically like once per 2 months I'm buying like all book powders like cordyceps, chaga, reishi, shiitake, maitake, and I'm stacking it all together.
Yeah. And then the cordyceps, is it the sinensis or the militaris form?
Militaris.
Militaris? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, cool. I'm gonna have to go look that up and get some because I've got a giant tub of Nutricost's lion's mane in the pantry in the kitchen. I'm going to need to add some Reishi because I just sent Robbie some interesting data about Reishi the other night when him and I think it was New Year's Eve I sent that to you, Robbie.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
on, it's
we
liver
were
health benefits
celebrating.
for alcohol-induced liver toxicity.
Yeah. Yeah, I sent some ideas for Robic, so I hope he will
Yeah, we were just talking about it with Robert, so yeah, definitely. But it seems like Rishi is like very, very good for. I think how it helps, from what I read with sleep, is because of the calming effect. I think it almost works like what is this? There is another one, another ingredient, popular ingredient for sleep. Russians love it. Let me have a look. Valerian root.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So Valerian root, I know helps. It doesn't help directly with sleep, but it helps with the calming effects and anxiety and stuff like that. So I think the combination of probably that and reishi mushrooms probably could work magic.
Yeah, 100%. Give it a shot, Robert. Let's try
Yep.
it.
Is there a difference between the two forms of cordyceps, so militaris versus sinensis? Lukasz, you're the Mushroom King. You want to take opening crack at this?
Go for it. I'm just gonna chop my 2 cents. You are the expert.
I mean, it's kind of like all mushrooms. So all mushrooms have some commonalities in them, but they also have some difference. So it's going to boil down a lot to like the different individual bioactives and the polysaccharides in there that are conferring its different therapeutic properties in there. But both of them, I mean, from like a lipid oxidation standpoint, they've both been shown to be effective in helping to limit the oxidation of lipids in the body, which is going to have some downstream anti-inflammatory benefits, cardiovascular benefits, and improve the body's antioxidant and free radical scavenging abilities. And then cordyceps, I believe it's what militaris is the one that they used that showed improvements in endurance exercise.
Endurance, yeah.
Yeah, that's the one that typically is used for that, but I'm inclined to believe that it's mostly, I don't know if it's exactly the militaris species that's conferring those benefits or just the fact that it's improving oxygen utilization, reducing the onset of fatigue to where you could get that same thing with other adaptogenic mushrooms, which is why, something like Pico-2, you're seeing improvements in VO2 max and fatigue resistance along those lines.
Yeah.
So everything, it's good. Like we say with a bunch of things, it's certain mushrooms are going to have different specific benefits. Like reishi is going to be great for immune system. Lion's mane is excellent for neuroprotection and neurological benefits. Cordyceps, I'm inclined to believe, militaris is probably a little bit better for your performance, but I would like to believe there's also going to be some good benefits from sinensis as well.
Yeah, I would start, taking like each mushroom, and then maybe stacking them, for some time. But if you have access to like bulk supplements or those kind of things, like buy a pouch, let's say, for 200, 300, even 500 grams of, let's say, cordyceps, and just like give it a shot, run it for like, 1 or 2 months, and try to, experiment with the dosages. One day try to take 1 gram and then like maybe up to 2, increase the dosage up to 2 grams and see how your body reacts. And based on that, you can see if it gives you some benefits or not.
Agreed. Yeah, there's almost like an entire world. Like you could just go down the wormhole of all the different medicinal mushrooms. It's probably as expansive as something like just the field of nootropics is too.
Yeah, man.
So
you could see my bill on mushrooms. You would be.
So since we're on that line, have you messed with psilocybin or any of those kind of like the magic mushrooms or anything like that?
No.
No, I haven't either. Are those readily available in Poland? Like, what's their status there?
No. They are not available. It's really hard to find those kind of things here. So no.
Shane, you have any experience with mushrooms outside of what's in the pre-workout?
Maybe there is a dealer in my city, but I don't know anyone who.
There you go.
I'm telling you, man, it's too rabbit hole for me.
Yeah.
It's too far down. I mean, again, there's nothing I take. Like, there's no supplement I take separately, like by itself, apart from creatine, obviously, and EAAs, if you can count that. But there's nothing that I separately dose standalone. I'll look for a certain dose of something in a supplement, but I won't. I won't really buy something specific and add it. Although Todka worked quite well for me.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about it because we all like, suggested to you. And,
definitely changed. It was good.
yeah.
They weren't great in the beginning and had me concerned, but they changed.
I told
They
you.
became better.
Yeah.
So how were you, I guess, assessing the effectiveness of Tudka? Were you running blood panels during this just to kind of see like changes in your liver enzymes or anything like that?
I mean, it's one of those ingredients, kind of like a vitamin, right? Like you don't know what's going to do better for you, and you don't know if it's going to do worse. But you know it's probably something you should take, especially me who doesn't eat vegetables that much. So Todka, like, I don't know, I noticed, again, the bowel movements and digestion was definitely different within the first 2 weeks. Then it kind of just became, I don't know, a little more streamlined. I don't know if that was the intended effect, but if something could kind of disrupt and affect me in that way, and then kind of come right, I don't know, I guess it just has me thinking, had me believing that internally it probably was something that I should probably take. Again, Lukasz said it was dynamite. I took it, felt a smidgen better, saw a bit of a change, so I was like, okay, I'm a believer. That's really all it takes.
Yeah.
It's not one of those supplements where I'm like creatine, just say I never take creatine, and then they say, oh, it adds a little bit of weight and helps build strength and size. And if I took that and I didn't see anything, I would be like, okay, this is shit, not taking it again. Tudka, multivitamins, probiotics, another thing that I take that I wouldn't necessarily say I, gained a kilo of muscle on, but I could definitely feel internally that there's something slightly more efficient with it. Might be a placebo. I don't know.
I know that my blood work definitely can attest that Tudka definitely works because like for years I've been, liver enzymes definitely been slightly elevated. It was always the case. Once I started using Tudka within 6 months, that was maybe 3 years ago. My levels are perfect, and they've been ever since. And the only thing I changed was Tudka. There's nothing else. So that's something definitely I believe in.
Yeah, my blood tests and panels never had a problem. They've always been apparently spot on. Hence why when something's off, the doctor's like, what the fuck are you doing? What did you do? What did you change? Because it's not about whether you're like constantly healthy. He says it's more to the fact that whatever you are, when there's a change, that's when you should be checking what's happened. I mean, maybe I should get some blood work, but I don't really know what I would be seeing if my blood is or if my
levels
enzymes are already good. Yeah. I don't really know what I would see.
No. Lukasz, is there a reason you started taking? I mean, you don't have to get too personal into medical history, but I mean, like, have you been running blood work to see if Tudka was working and having any kind of, effect on any kind of biological markers, or same thing with turmeric or curcumin?
You know what? I'm doing blood work like 2 or 3 times per year. It depends on how much activity and work and everything I'm doing, but 2 times is like a minimum for me. I never had issues with my blood, so everything was always on point. And to be honest, I was like, I was talking with my friend, and he said that Tudka, works very well for him, especially due to the fact that he was taking like a lots of stimulants, And I'm also like, as you know, I'm also like a steam junkie as far as like all different kinds of stuff. And I also like to try something new and stacking stuff.
Anything that can help.
Yeah, so I was like, let me check it out. So I went to Dr. Google, and I was like, reading some studies about it, and said, all right, let's give it a shot, And I had some at first I had some issues, same as Shane, with my bowels and everything, but after like 2 weeks it went away. So yeah, man. And since then I was like, I started taking it. Right now I'm on like 500 milligrams dose every day, and it works very well for me. And right now I'm stacking it also with ANC, so and turmeric. So that's my go-to stack.
You said NAC? That was the other one?
Yeah, NAC. Yeah.
Yeah, I do 1,200 milligrams of NAC every day. That's part of like the general health stack or the liver protection stack I'm working on. Make sure I don't completely torpedo my insides with bourbon.
Yeah.
All right.
See, I don't ever drink, so I feel like that probably is a reason. Well, I've never drank, so I feel like that's probably a reason why. I don't know. I've never really had too much change in that area.
Yeah, and I probably need to get some blood work done. I haven't been to a doctor in 5 years, 6 years, something like
fuck?
that. I'm healthy. I don't have any issues, so that's why I'm like, all right, whatever.
It's not about whether. Okay, this is. I explained this to my mom. This is how my mind works. Okay, so my mom would say, she's like, I turn my computer on, it works fine. I said, did you want to upgrade something? Did you want to add something new? And she's like, no, why? It works fine. I was like, well, because it's not going to work fine in about 4 or 5 years. Computers' life cycle is 5 to 7. And I was, at best, mobile phones, 2 to 3. Right? So if you don't change something, like a car, if you don't get it checked, or the brakes replaced, or the engine serviced, or whatever, shit's going to hit the fan. And when shit hits the fan, it's going to cost you a lot more than those small amounts to upgrade on the way. And my philosophy for health, the amount of times that something's wrong and you're not actually going to feel something on the outside is just, and the amount of problems that could go wrong in your body beyond like you actually noticing them on the outside. I don't know if you were like having internal bleeding and then you started coughing up blood. Holy shit. Like, I mean, probably would have been better if you looked at it earlier, right? Obviously, there's an extreme case, but my theory is that if you just go to the doctor, I do it like 3-4 times a year, blood work 3-4. If I go see him, there's no harm in him just checking. He'll know what to look for. He'll know if anything's off, and if there is something, I mean, it's better than insurance. It's cheaper than insurance, and
must work different in New Zealand than here.
Well, see, that's the other thing, I guess. Like, we don't, I suppose for you guys, we don't pay. Like, if we get a surgery, it's free. If we get, like, I don't know, if I fall over and broke a leg, it's free. The doctor, I think, is $40, which is what, 30 for you guys, 30 US.
Yeah.
But for me, and blood work is free. So it's, for me, it just, I mean, again, you have to. This is your body you're talking about here.
Yeah, and I get that. I've had a fairly extensive bad run with doctors, especially like early 2010s, like say that's 2012, 2013. I went through doctors, like I was going to doctors every year normal, and then something they said, oh well, you're anemic. Something looks kind of off. Your red blood cell count is low. Your creatinine levels are up, and all of this other stuff. And so I start running through the gauntlet. I've already telling them I'm on creatine. They said, well, your creatinine level shouldn't be high. I said, well, obviously I work out 6 days a week fairly intensely, and I'm taking creatine. They said, no, there's no way it could be that high. And then, so they do a CBC count. They do all this. They bring me in. I go see 3 different doctors. They do x-rays up and down on me. They do an MRI. Then they go and decide, well, we think you might have cancer. We're going to do a bone marrow biopsy in your hip. I go and they take that big fucking needle and go boom, and then I go to the thing. They jammed it into my hip, and they come out and they said, oh, we didn't get any bone marrow, we got to go again. Boom, they go again, and they said it came out dry again. I'm thinking, you gotta be fucking kidding me. They go a third time. I'm almost in tears at this point.
You have no marrow, that's the problem.
It was the most excruciating pain. If you've never had a bone marrow biopsy, I don't wish this on my worst enemy.
I've seen it on the movies. I don't want to be there.
No, you don't. I mean, like, they give you a local, and then you feel them grinding and digging into your bone and everything, dude. They did that.
Like sore.
They did that shit 3 times to me, because the first 2 times the person, I don't know what happened, or I'm just low on bone marrow or whatever. This process went on for like 10 to 12 months, going to all these different doctors, and finally somebody said, well, hey, you're getting a little orangish, your eyes aren't yellow, so your liver's fine. Like, they ultrasounded my liver, my kidneys, all this other stuff. And they just said, well, maybe let's just clean this up. We'll tweak one or two things. At the end of it, they didn't figure any fucking thing out whatsoever. I stopped eating as much certain types of vegetables, and maybe it was like too much vitamin A in me or something.
It's the goddamn vegetables, man.
I had
I'm
no
telling you.
fucking clue what was going on, which shows you that doctors know zero about nutrition or any of the
You know
other
what?
fitness stuff.
Based
All this
on
other
that,
stuff.
I wouldn't go again either.
So I've done like some CBC counts when I was running some other supplements back in the day because we were just curious, like, hey, do these natural test boosters actually impact testosterone levels, or how does some like these natural muscle builders, does it change androgen levels or anything like that? When CJ and I were running some stuff, we did some different blood work and everything. But yeah, I haven't been to a doctor basically probably since that happened, like 2014, 2013. So
I wouldn't go back either. They don't sound like they know what the fuck they're doing.
Nope. At least not in
Someone
Louisiana, they
jabbed-
didn't.
That was like when my wife was pregnant. She got the when she was giving birth. She got that big needle thing.
Epidural, yeah.
Yeah, that's the bitch. I remember she was like, oh, I'd like to stave it off as much. I was like, get the drugs, man. It's gonna be good. It'll be great.
Yeah.
And like, so they gave it to her like at the latest point. Like she was fucked. And I'm not a needle guy, right? I'm not a needle guy. I'm the video thing. I can watch Saw and shit, but when I see it in person and that blood smell, anyway. So they set her up, and the doctor come in, and he was like the anesthesiologist or whatever, and he was this premium dude, not dressed in a suit. He was fancy, just casual wear. He rolls up, puts his coat on. He's like, okay, we're gonna get this done. And I was like, this motherfucker must make a lot of money because he looks pro as hell.
Slick.
Yep.
Pulls out the goddamn needle. I don't know if you've seen this thing, but holy shit.
Oh, yeah.
He said, I didn't see the needle, I saw the bag. And I was like, it must be like a bag inside a bag inside a bag. And then he said, just make sure she's okay. And I sat there looking at her. And she was already passed out, I think, by some of this.
You are
And
fucked.
he pulls his elbow back, right? So when I'm looking at her and I see the elbow over the shoulder, I'm like, holy shit, he's got a fucking lawnmower back there? And then he puts it in. And then he's like, ooh, it seems like you got a lot of scar tissue. You can see him wedging this shit in. And I was like, and I feel her shaking. I'm just holding on. And I'm like, oh, this is horrible. This is fucking horrible. And then he says, okay. And he had the same problem. He came back 10 minutes later. He's like, oh, I must have missed it. And I'm like, the fuck you mean you missed it, bro? You look all fancy. You look like you know what you're doing. So he did it a second time. And then the second time, he puts it in. He's like, okay, I got it this time. And he's like, oh. And he said, ooh. And I was like, stupidly, I look up. And as I look over, I see him pull the thing out. And then there's blood just all over the... And I was just like, oh, shit. I almost passed out. And I'm getting all dizzy. And my wife's looking at me. She's like, are you fucking serious? I'm pushing out a baby right now. And you're going to pass out? Oh. I was just like, you know what? You got a good point. But I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. It was intense, but fuck. It was horrible just watching that shit. I had it done 3 times. For no reason.
Yeah, so I've been scarred from that, and so I figured I take care of myself. I eat really healthy, minus the bourbon. I eat really healthy. I'm very physically active. I get a decent amount of sleep. Fuck the doctors until my toe starts falling off or something. I take enough health supplements and I do enough other shit right. Fuck the doctors,
Did you have to
man.
pay for any of that?
Yeah, I had to pay for all of that.
How much did all of that cost?
I don't remember. I mean, it was through my wife's health insurance because at this point,
I was gonna say.
oh no, I was still engineering at the time. I hadn't jumped into the supplement industry yet. This was 2013, so I was still engineering. So I had the good engineering health insurance. So the way it worked is like you pay a certain amount, like a premium each month, and then there's a copay depending on how it's structured. So you pay a percentage of that, and then it's knocked off or whatever.
So this is kind of like what Americans mention a lot when they say that the medical system might be a bit,
Fucked.
Let's just do this test. That's going to cost this much. Let's just add it to the insurance bill.
So I
okay.
never ever want to have a bone marrow biopsy again. I don't wish it on anybody. And thanks.
Yeah, we don't really get people jumping. I've never been to a doctor who's jumped to a conclusion. He'll say things like, it could mean this and this and this, but looking at you and it's likely this. We'll get this done, and if this comes back, we'll do this. It won't leap to the. Don't think of a doctor I've been to is going to leap me to a bone marrow.
Well, no, that was like step like 5 or 6. So I mean, like they ultrasounded my liver and kidneys. They did like a blood draw to see what my blood markers were, and then they went back for another blood draw. Like I had 3 blood draws, and then 3 different ones. I saw 2 different doctors. Then they sent me to the not the radiology specialist, the X-ray tech to go get my ultrasound for my organs and stuff like that to make sure there wasn't something horrendous going on there.
When they said you might have cancer, did you shit your pants? Like Toka shit your pants, or like?
I just thought, I don't understand how the fuck any of this is possible. Like, what in the world is going on? I'm eating X number of my
not-
protein's good. I'm eating no
really
food. I'm not eating
believe
fried
it kind
food.
of
I'm not
thing.
eating all this bullshit fast food and all this other stuff. I don't understand what was going on. And like my eyes weren't turning yellow. I wasn't pissing blood. I wasn't having any other issues.
So you didn't you just sort of took it and like, that's not likely, but I'll ride this train.
I didn't even know what to do. I think my parents convinced me to do it. Like I was married at this point. Sandy and I got married in 2009. But my mom's a nurse. My younger sister is a pharmacist, and so my dad's been a type 2 diabetic for 20 plus years. So my mom's been ingrained with like health issues, and she knows like her dad died of leukemia. My grandma on my dad's side had non-Hodgkin's lymphoma and has been in remission for that. So she thought, hey, you are going to do this. I don't give a shit what you're saying. I don't care how healthy you think you're living. You're going to have this happen. But,
yeah, I think my friend had some. He's been brought up things before, and the doctor will sort of be like, this is in your family, so based on that, it is likely or it could possibly be this. I suppose that makes sense. Well, the 3 bone marrow, that sounds like a.
Yeah. I mean, that needle, the part of the needle I saw was this long. I'm not sure how much further it extended
They say
back.
don't look, but you're just like.
Well, no, I'm laying on my side. Like, so they had you laying on the table face down, and my head's laying this way, and then so I'm in the room by myself with the nurse, and I'm just laying there. And she didn't say, hey, the doctor's about to come in with the needle. You may want to turn and look the other way. I'm just laying there. The door opens up. I see your boy rolling with like this big tray of stuff, and he goes, whoosh. I thought, fuck, this is not going to be good.
Not that this helps much in the story, but were you allowed to wear clothes, or was this like a butt naked Robin on the bench?
No. I was clothed, and then like you pull down your pants a little bit to where you show, like, the little bony protrusion at the top of your hip right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, on your backside.
You had one of those hospital gowns on.
Yeah. And so like on the backside, like where the top of the iliac crust is on your pelvis or your hip. That's
not meant to go in there, man. Stuff doesn't go in, right? It's bone. It's meant to protect you, right? What?
Yeah.
Things don't go in there.
Imagine this big pen, something about that diameter going into your.
Did you hear it? Not that I want to hear it, but like, did you hear this? I don't know.
You didn't hear anything. Like, so they do a local on the area. Supposed to work. You're not supposed to feel anything.
You do.
You feel an intense pressure as the needle is going down, and then you feel it scraping the bone. So like you feel like you've got imagine you're eating like a bowl of food, and the way like the spoon like scrapes the bottom of like a glass bowl or a metal bowl or something. You hear that scraping. That's what you hear and feel when they're doing that.
We've come so far, and we have phones now. Like technology.
I'm looking for a bowl now.
Surely there's a better way to do this than a barbaric needle into the bone.
Yeah.
I'm not a doctor, but come on, guys. You're better than this.
I think
3 times. How do you miss bone marrow 3 times?
We got hooligan 6.5. We got assassin. Surely we can figure out a better way to get a bone marrow.
Oh man!
And I think you go to the doctor. I mean, I actually agree with Shane. I believe like at least going in as a preventative measure just to check, if everything is okay. Yeah, it's 100% okay. But I'm also can relate to Robert because I went to
go back.
Yeah, I went to check like a regular checkup, and all of a sudden they suspected something small, which kind of fucking, went to as far as suspecting kidney cancer, and they put me through hell. And there is nothing worse. Damn. Yeah, there is nothing worse than when they, basically they sent me to do CAT scans and God knows what else. But once you go to an actual like cancer place, and when you walk in and it says like cancer hospital or cancer research or cancer something, just that reading that word, I don't care how tough you are, it's gonna break you. Like morally, it's gonna absolutely break you.
Horrible.
And I remember being so upset because my regular physician, former probably physician, when I went in, the nurse was in the room, and I'm sitting there with my wife. She knows them, and they going over, and the first thing that comes immediately, you know what? If you only were not drinking protein shakes are so bad for you. And they gave me this fucking speech, which I always hate, and I'm trying my best not to, not to retaliate and not to fucking lose my shit. But then when I got up off the table and I was basically going for a CAT scan to another doctor, another place, and she literally patted me on the back. And when you fucking dying or some shit like that, or they send you to war and they say, "Don't worry, everything is gonna be okay," and they have that fucking sad face.
Famous last word.
I literally wanted to punch her in the face. I absolutely fucking lost it because it was like, why are you fucking basically talking to me as if I'm dying? Obviously I'm scared. I mean, that's just, I'm not even ashamed to admit it. I'm petrified. So you're going through CAT scan, and then you're going to a cancer research clinic and stuff like that. And you're going through all that. And like I said, you're starting to think, am I dying? And then I have to basically go and tell my daughter, who is now 16, I have to explain to her, because she's not 5, like what I'm doing and what I'm going through. You almost like feel like you're about to say goodbye, because it's literally scary.
Yeah, like
it's very scary, and it was, I went through it, I think, for a couple of months, just to be told that there is nothing wrong with me. I mean, an apology, I think I deserve an apology. Anyone can fuck up. You've made a mistake. I'm okay with it. But you know what? You're putting people through hell. And that's why, like what Robert said, it kind of makes you scared to go to a doctor, because you might, you walk in feeling good and feeling healthy, and all of a sudden you have to see fucking 25 doctors, and you're scared that you might be dying. Unless it's conclusive, unless there is something seriously fucked up with you, there should be some kind of a level of professionalism, because it's very, very sensitive when you tell somebody, even mentioning the word cancer. I don't think you should be doing it unless the patient actually has it. Make sure you confirm everything, because it is scary.
Is this common? Like, I mean, out of this podcast, both of the Americans were diagnosed with cancer once.
Well, no, they didn't diagnose me with it. They just thought, they were like, hey, we don't know what else it is. Maybe it's cancer. Let's check your bone marrow.
To the point where they got you to do that kind of shit. I mean, it's just. I mean, if we had TJ here, we could verify it, because he's been alive for 50 years. So surely he's suspected cancer twice.
So what other funny thing? So we went to the dermatologist for the first time when we were living in Michigan. This was late 2015 or early 2016. We went in there just to do Sandy talked me into this, because I had gotten 1 or 2 bad sunburns when I was a kid. She's very fair skinned, but she, like Robbie's seen her, she's head to toe, like a bunch of freckles on her face and all of that stuff. She thought, hey, maybe I should just go get checked. So we both get checked out by the respective dermatologists there. And it's a teaching hospital there at the University of Michigan. So they had like some of the little lackeys that are learning to be like dermatologists in training. So mine checks out. Sandy's in the room next door. They walk in to Sandy, and they look at her and say, all right, well, none of your things look cancerous. But they said, here, your face, all these freckles, we have a procedure that can remove all those if you want to get rid of your freckles. Sandy said, the fuck are you talking about? Who comes in and says, yeah, just completely whitewash my face, get rid of all the freckles? I've never heard of that even being a thing.
Whoa.
They said, we can fix that for you if you want.
You can remove freckles, but you still need to put a fishing rod into someone's hip for bone marrow. I don't understand.
Well, I have a better one for you. I think I was maybe 29, and at that point, I never denied this. I used steroids. So we moved from Brooklyn to New Jersey, and I wanted to go for a checkup. So it was a brand new doctor. I've never seen her before. So, Marina, because she had like access to all kind of doctors, she goes like, well, everybody says she's good. Go to her. I went to the doctor, and you have to disclose all the information because it's obviously it's your doctor. You can't fucking hide anything. So before the checkup and everything else, I think I was 29. So I'm telling her, she goes like, do you feel anything wrong or anything like that? I'm like, no, I'm fine. She goes to me, what about alcohol? I don't drink alcohol. I don't smoke. I don't do drugs. I said, but I do take performance enhancers. So she goes to me, what do you mean? Like, she had no idea what performance enhancers are. I said, I take steroids. She goes to me, oh my God, what are you taking? So I was like, okay, so I'll tell her. And I remember at that point I was taking two drugs. One was testosterone and the other one was Primobolan. So I was like, I told her what I'm taking. She goes to me, give me a second. So she goes through the books and she goes online and she checks it out and she does like research. She obviously didn't know what the fuck,
Not the doctor you want to be seeing with that stuff.
Yeah, she didn't know. So she finally goes and she says, she gives me like a lecture. You know how bad it is for you. You know what you're doing to your body. Like this. And she gives me the speech. And in the end, she goes to me, that you're not going to be able to have kids. And there is a chance you're not going to make it to 40. I'm looking at her and I'm like, should I question my wife's pregnancy? Because my wife was pregnant at the time. I was like, I mean,
it's not yours.
Yeah, I'm about to be a father. Maybe it's not mine, but obviously I was being sarcastic, but the bottom line is like, every time people say doctor, everybody fucking, doctor is almost like a god. But the fact is, some of them are not extremely knowledgeable, and some of them don't know what the fuck they're talking about, and sometimes they exaggerate it, and on top of it, they do make mistakes.
Yeah, I've had the same doctor for my whole life. So I'm not gonna lie. If anyone knows as much about my body as me, it's that motherfucker. So I wholeheartedly go to him.
That's it. We're making an appointment with your doctor.
There we go. We're all flying to New Zealand, and we're going to fly Shane's doctor up here to the States, and we're all just going to get checked over.
It's pretty old when I first saw him, so he's very old now. But like, and he lays. Maybe I just got it. Maybe we just struck it lucky with our doctor. But he tells me things. He'd be like, "Oh, this could mean that it's this, and this," but it's highly unlikely that you have cancer. It's highly unlikely that it's diabetes. Blah blah blah. And then they do a test, confirm it. Done. I don't know.
So it makes you feel comfortable.
Well, I mean, I find it weird that if I went to the doctor, because you guys make it sound like there's a 50% chance you're going to get suspected of cancer if you go to the doctor. Right? If I went to the doctor just for a checkup, oh, this is off. Maybe you got cancer. I would be like, what the hell are you talking about? I would have sort of expected, okay, we'll do a few more tests and we'll check if it's this.
100%.
It's not likely to be this. And don't say cancer flat out. That just seems horrible. But, I mean, it sounds like that you guys throw the word around like it's the flu.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
I tell you what, these cancer places must be making some testing places must be making some money. God damn.
They do. All right. On that note, we could segue away from embarrassing medical stories. For all of you tuning in on the live feed, if you got any other questions for us, supplements or otherwise related, or if you've also suffered a bone marrow biopsy that went sideways, let us know in the comments.
Or if you've been suspected of cancer, please add to the count, because it's 100% right now of Americans that we're talking to.
Shade, you got any hot, fast, and dirty topics for us to tackle?
I haven't done anything, so just kidding.
He was mesmerized by her. Could tell the story about the time I got a parasite coming back from Mexico and all the fun tests they ran for that.
What the shit, man? What do you guys get up to?
Got it when it was our when did this happen? This was our 4-year anniversary trip that happened, or no, our 3-year anniversary trip. I think. Yeah.
We
got one coming back from Mexico from an all-inclusive resort. It's what I get for eating fresh vegetables in Mexico. Apparently, the water that they wash the vegetables with got laced with some kind of parasite, and I was. You talk about issues with Tutka, Shane, and your bathroom issues. Wait until you have a parasite in your system. You'll have all kinds of fun stuff.
And that's the reason why he doesn't eat vegetables.
Yeah, bro.
Especially at a Mexican resort.
I'm trying to
I've
remember
heard some
what
stories about the parasites and digestive issues in some
I'm
countries.
trying to remember what did I get, Cam?
Yeah, and the test they ran on that was fun. That was a lot of fun.
I'm trying to remember the thing I caught.
I don't remember. I don't remember the name of the parasite, but it's like it grows in your digestive tract, and you're losing weight.
Like a tapeworm or something?
Yeah, exactly. You're eating like a lot, but at the same time you're like losing weight, like
Yep.
You're basically like like a lightweight child or something, but your stomach is super big, and everything. And
Yeah, little fuckers taking all your food and growing.
them.
Yeah,
And
we
I
had a
remember the
parasite.
stories. That's
I have a child, but I mean,
it's
it's
fucking
pretty close,
insane.
isn't it?
Yeah, because you're super like slim on your face and everything, but your stomach is super big, because the fucker is growing in your stomach,
Hey, have you had a parasite, Lucas?
No, never.
Oh, I thought you were
With
joking.
with amounts of stims that he takes, all the parasites are fucking dead.
Yeah, they're fucking all gone.
Either that or
They're
they've grown wings and flown away.
6 cups of overtime. Chia.
Okay, I got a couple stories. They're all from this week. This week was relatively quiet, but a few stories that were exciting. I'm gonna go with Robic on this one because I think this is an interesting one. Because I see you like a lot of guys who when you say protein bar, it's like that's too many calories, right? And I'm very similar. The macro balance isn't the greatest. It's 20 grams of protein usually, and you get somewhere around 30 grams of carbs. Sometimes a lot of that is sugar, but this bar that came out this week from Icon Meals, I thought was dynamite to the point where I ordered it immediately. I don't know if it's going to come in the country. So Icon Meals is the meal prep company. They do snacks as well. They're known for their power popcorn. Absolutely delicious. Also extremely high in calories, but delicious. So this week they came out with the Icon Wag Bar, which is a protein bar made from 100% American Wagyu beef. So it's just a big, well, not big, I think a 40-gram piece of beef. And that's it. I believe there's some seasoning or flavoring to it because they do come in different flavors. But as you can imagine, the macros on this thing are pretty damn amazing. 15 grams of protein and only 90 calories. So that's 30 calories coming from stuff that's nutrition that's non-protein. I think the carbs are 3 to 5. I couldn't see the fat. Obviously there is some in there, but you can't go wrong with this thing. I thought if you're someone who wants protein, like function over form, I mean, it is just a big piece of beef, but it's probably going to be chewy as shit. But I mean, you got 15 grams of protein and 90 calories. That's more protein powder like than it is protein bar like. So I mean, yeah. What's your thoughts? Is this something you would be happy to throw in your bag and eat?
100% yes. Because Icon Meals, like I know that they do meal preps. So I saw that you posted about it. I mean, I watch everything you post. But the thing is that look, I mean, I see everybody and their fucking mother is releasing protein bars right now. It's like becoming almost like an epidemic or something. It's crazy. But if you look at it, I think the market lacks, which is very ironic. I think it lacks in quality. Most of those fucking protein bars, some of them taste absolutely delicious, but we know the macros on it, they shouldn't even be fucking called healthy. The word healthy should not be associated with them. So I think the market absolutely lacks in terms of quality and taste. I mean, sometimes I put like a hashtag when we post quality and taste because, I believe that our protein is among the best formulas, but it's also definitely among the best tasting. There are not a lot of good tasting proteins on the market, and it's just a fact. Usually if they're good tasting, then the quality sucks. So it's the same with protein bars. These guys, at least from what I saw when you posted, there are no outrageous claims like it's a game changer or the best on the market or this or that. So especially considering that it comes from a meal prep company, not the actual supplement company, I think that's already shows that they're thinking outside the box and they're trying to enter a different market for them, because meal prep and supplements, I mean, it's completely different. So they're tackling something that is completely new and they're expanding on what they're doing already. To me, that's already, deserves praise. So even if they bars were shit, like everything on the market, 99% is shit, just some of it tastes good, that's already admirable. I think, the fact that they're entering it. But, based on what you said in terms of quality, it seems like it's probably one of the better qualities out there, if not the best one. Arguably, it is the best in terms of macros and everything else. A person can actually follow a healthy diet, a low-calorie diet, and enjoy the bar. The only question that I have is what you said, will it taste good? I suspect,
Yeah.
I doubt, but I don't want to say no. I don't want to say no because that wouldn't be fair. But based on the fact that it is a quality, low calorie, and it seems like it was made with health in mind, rather than let's make it taste like fucking Snickers bar, and sprinkle it with a little bit of protein, it's impressive. I hope that I'm wrong. I really hope that I'm wrong. And I hope that it tastes at least decent. Not shit, but not great, but at least decent. Because if it tastes decent and considering the macros and considering of quality, this would be, I think, a slam dunk. Because again, everybody's fucking releasing protein bars on a weekly basis, and most actually taste pretty good from what I understand. But I mean, in terms of macros, I would not recommend it to anyone who wants to stay on a either low calorie or low carbohydrate diet, because they anything but healthy.
Yeah, I've ordered the variety pack, so I got I guess three of each flavor. Um,
They're
I
available already for sale in the United States.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not too bad. I think it's $36 for a box of 12. It's not bad. What's that, like
That's standard.
$3 each?
they are reminding me of Epic Provisions. Did you guys familiar with the brand?
They have I looked it up. There are a couple brands, many brands out there that do
Yeah,
that same
Epic
thing.
Provisions was probably one of the first brands that released, meat type of a bar, and it's basically like ground chicken or ground beef, depending on variety. They got like right now, I believe they have like 9 bars or something, and they also have a deer, a bison, those kind of things, and they are all based on natural ingredients. So basically, only like meats and spices, and they're very limited ingredients, like maybe 10 ingredients in per bar, and the macros are really really similar. I remember the because I was really tasty, and there was like this smoky type of a flavor, so I really enjoy them. So if Icon can pull this one off, it's gonna be a great alternative, definitely, for sure.
Oh yeah. I mean,
Epic
I know that.
Provisions. Epic Provisions. I know they are very, very, very popular in US. So that's why I've heard about them.
Yeah, see, this is interesting. Yeah, I was just looking at it now. Their beef sea salt. That's what I'm
Yeah,
curious about. Is they have 8 grams of fat in there
yeah.
and 11 grams of protein,
Depending
3 grams
on
of carb.
depending on bar, you got,
Oh
for
yeah. No,
example,
I was just looking at their beef bar because I
yeah.
was curious as to how Icon did pretty much a no-fat beef bar. Um, because it's 3 to 5 grams of
I think
carbs leaves room
I
for
think
maybe
it's
1 to 2
because of
grams of fat.
the wagyu. That's why the steaks are wagyu, so
Yeah, I just would have
the fat
expected
is
a
very
little
low.
more. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's still a it's yeah. I have a feeling it might not taste amazing compared to what I'm used to eating. I mean, if you like well done beef, then I feel like this might be a step further. It's a dry out beef bar, but yeah. So the next story we got is so
Before you touch on
Mars.
that, Shane, Subs on Deck wants a recount on Protein Wars.
Oh yeah, I announced that since I announced it since the last one. Yeah, Jim.
Yeah.
Hey man, it was an impressive victory by Jim Stoppani and Bro Show. I'm surprised they didn't do well sooner. To be honest, he's got the environment to basically do it. He's got a loyal fan base.
Yep.
I mean, shit, if he puts out something contradictory or anything, or even points people in a direction, they go. That's what the gym army has been known for since pre-gym came about, all the way back at
Robic is one of them.
I'm a fan. I wanted to ask you, Shane, for the last couple of days. Did he reach out to you?
I've been trying to.
I mean, a thank you would be nice.
No.
Where's
So
the
they
fucking ring?
shared. They communicated. I'll get the ring now. I will get the ring now. It's fucking beautiful.
Show
to be
it.
honest, I want to keep it myself. But
So the bling bling.
they were messaging during the contest, like sharing it, and then I'd be like, "Oh, thanks for the support, good luck," and they'd be like, "Cool, excited for the content." They would mention it multiple times. Even Jim Stoppani did it on Instagram. But since it's ended, I messaged them, but I haven't heard anything back. So, and I tagged them, so I'm like, I know that they must have had it. So I'm trying. I must have to. I've never touched on. I've never been to talk to him on email, so I'm gonna have to try and dig up his email. But here is the.
Damn.
Wow. Damn.
So we got it. Yeah, super. It's pretty big, but I mean, I think these things cost.
Hey Shane,
We do-
put it on your pinky.
We do a. It's my size. It's made to my size.
There you go.
But we do it. It's a custom one of a kind each year, so it's never the same ring, and I never keep them. But it's and
Is there
Yeah,
a logo of the gym on the ring?
hell no. This thing takes I think it's like 12 to 16 weeks to make.
Yeah.
So I would have had to finalize the design with their logo, and they probably wouldn't get it until the next one starts. I mean,
Oh damn.
we thought about it, but I mean, the whole idea is basically the Super Bowl. But yeah, it's we get these custom made. They take because it's just one of a kind. I'm obviously not at the front of the queue. I mean, if I was doing 20, maybe for like a whole team, but it's just one, and yeah, hopefully they'll reply back and I can send it to them because there's only 3 in existence. First one went to Stephen at Man Sports, and then last year's winner was Ghost Way. They got, I think the first one was silver and black. Last year's one was red, a bit of red and black to it. It's pretty boss. This one I just thought I'd fancy it up with gold. No consistencies with the rings whatsoever. They change it each week. I was like, fuck it. I don't want to do. If I'm gonna spend this much money, $1,500, I better try and make them look as unique as possible.
Make it rain.
So what costs more, the Wife's wedding ring or the Protein Wars ring? I'm kidding. Don't answer that question.
See, I explained this last week. I'm of the tradition, the original 3-month salary. So at the time I bought my wife's wedding ring, I did indeed pay 3 months salary for her ring. At
There
the
you go.
time.
At the time.
Now,
Okay.
At the time. But then when I went to the US, because I was like, shit, man, I should have bought my ring here, because goddamn, I would have got something much bigger than what I got. Because we went to the US. I took her to the US. I was like, we got to get wedding bands, and we're looking through the shop, and she's like, why are you looking at all these rings? And I'm like, motherfucker, I could have bought twice the size here for the same damn price. I mean, it was ridiculous. I was like, no wonder everyone's walking around with big rocks in America. It's way
Cheaper.
more. I mean, it's not like way cheaper, but it's significantly big price difference.
Yeah.
could have at least got an extra carrot, half a carrot maybe. I think it was demoralizing. But no, the combination of these championship rings might be more expensive eventually. Oh, I have wanted to know how that tasted. The cage
Yeah, I'm
muscle
curious
outlook.
as well.
That's
I
their
watched,
green supplement.
yeah,
That's
so far I
yeah.
watched one review and it was pretty positive for Cage. So let us know what you think.
I'm suspicious of these superfood supplements because for a while it was a lot of them saying, "Oh, it's the best," and I was like, "Oh, this tastes like shit." Then it went to, it's the best," and then it did actually taste nice. And now we're going back to, they say it's the best, and it does indeed taste like shit. So I'm losing my trust again. Uh, I found my favorites, the better tasting super greens, or the better tasting superfood supplements.
I mean, I like the
So
look of it. The look of it looks good. The label design, I mean.
yeah,
Yeah,
but I mean, it's all about the taste, though, isn't it?
Well, yeah, I'm just, what in the world's in this thing?
branding.
Whoa, there we, shit. Hold on.
They said they put. I'm pretty sure this is the one that they said they kind of wanted a taste like no other.
Robert, I have a question.
Oh no.
It says it's no, nothing bad. It says fully dosed. What? I mean, how do you judge what is fully dosed? I mean, just a question because it's a little bit confusing.
You don't
In
know
your
whether it's fully
opinion,
dosed. There
It
is no
means it means when you get the scoop
USDA.
out, when you get the scoop, it's full.
yeah, that I can believe because in terms of like we know on certain, especially like I don't know, over the counter maybe medicine, painkillers, etc. Even supplements that have to do with performance, we know more or less fully dosed. But on this one, I'm just asking because honestly, I don't know what fully dosed would mean with all these ingredients. So that's the reason why I wanted your opinion, not to shit on a brand, but just pure curiosity.
It's pure marketing
Okay.
jargon. There is no clinical dose for apple cider vinegar powder, coconut water powder, cinnamon bark powder, uh, organic turmeric root. We don't know the standardization of the curcuminoids in there. I don't see any bioavailability enhancers for the curcumin or the turmeric in there. You're getting a bunch of other little bioactives and stuff that's in there, but you have no idea what it's fully dosed or not. There's no wheatgrass powder. Do we have the clinical dose and the efficacious showing it improves liver enzymes by 4,000% if you take 1,250 milligrams of organic wheatgrass powder? No, we don't. So it's a hollow claim that they're just putting to make it look more appealing to consumers.
So, in your opinion, when somebody's looking for a greens formula, what should they look for? I know you're not a big fan of the greens formula personally,
Nothing.
but and still, if somebody would look for something, how would you approach it? What would you recommend to look for? Because I suspect you will say nothing.
I like that it's fully open label here. So that's something in there because most of these companies throw 36 different greens in a 5-gram blend and you have no idea what the fuck you're getting. So that's cool. I like the addition of KSM 66. That's good. But outside of this, you're getting a bunch of bioactives, polyphenols, antioxidants, trace minerals, and whatnot. We don't know what benefit these are having, if any. That's where you can look for an open label, and Cage Muscle usually does things well as far as like clean and quality of ingredients. They're one of the good guys that does it in that way. I'm not a big believer in these things just because we don't have any information showing that they do much of anything. Chlorella, I think, has some benefits, and spirulina has been found, but I want to say you need upwards of like 3 grams of spirulina.
At least.
Yeah, something like that. So go check out Legion Athletics Greens formula. That's got a whopping dose of spirulina and chlorella in it, I believe.
I personally don't like the kitchen sink approach where the brand is trying to like put on the label like, let's say 30 40 ingredients, instead of like focusing maybe on 5 6 in proper dosages and having like a better well-rounded formula than like okay, let's put, let's say 20 ingredients on the label, do like a salt bay type of a shit, and try to pull the strings, just to like sell a lot of tops, to consumers, and go with this, with this trend. The more you have on the label, the more we sell to the consumers. So I wouldn't like recommend those kind of things,
Yeah, I agree with that because I noticed that majority of supplement companies that are doing, say, for example, something for health, like multivitamins or something like that, they would usually dose a couple of ingredients pretty well, the recommended amount of stuff. And then you will notice that there is another few ingredients, or maybe even most of the ingredients, are severely underdosed. So people are looking at it and they're seeing that it's there, but it's not enough.
Yeah, I mean, this is a nice
that's
claim.
why
It's saying
for example,
25%.
like your US.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, this 25% of people don't eat enough fruits and vegetables. That's fine, but you don't have any qualifications saying that these dehydrated, processed, organic powders are a sufficient replacement for fruits and veggies. So it's, again, I mean, these are kind of like just hollow statistics that are trying to make people believe, hey, this will replace your fruit and vegetable intake when it can't do that.
Okay.
So, yeah, and it's not shitting on Caged Muscle. It's every greens powder, every pusher of greens powder on the market.
No, just discussing the topic. That's all.
Yeah. Yep. There you go. All right, Shane, back to you.
So the next one I have is from the Mars Candy Company. So if you've been following these guys over the past, or following Stacked over the past 3 years, Mars has released multiple, or the Mars Candy Company has released multiple supplements based around its candy. So there've been Snickers protein powder, Snickers protein bar, Bounty protein bar. There's been a Milky Way. There's been Twix. The list goes on. They've done a lot, but they've been limited or exclusive to Europe and the UK. Some of them have made their way to like Australia, I think. Could be wrong. Some of them probably made it to the Middle East as well, but never the US. So people could ship them in, but yeah, they weren't as cheap as obviously buying a bag in the country itself. And just before the end of the year, Mars finally bought one of those not bought, I believe that they've launched one in the US. I imagine it's made in the US as well. And they've done a Snickers protein powder and a protein bar. So it's kind of the same idea as what you got in the UK and Europe. It's like a whey-based protein powder intended to be taste like Snickers candy bar itself. It's chocolate caramel and peanut flavored. And then there is a Snickers protein bar with kind of a similar build, covered in chocolate with peanuts and caramel at the top, and then a kind of a thicker doughy base in the middle. But yeah, you can now grab them in the US. I believe they're selling them through their own site, snickershighprotein.com. That's high, just HI. And $29 or $30 for the protein powder and $25 for a box of the bars. I don't know what they taste like. I honestly was not a big fan of the ones in the UK. They didn't really. Originally, they had them. They were just had the name of the snack, the name of the candy bar on the packaging. So it was really nice to see and really like kind of connected you to the bar. But then on the later versions, they've put the intended flavor rather than just the name of the candy. Much like they've done here with the Snickers, it also says on it, like I said, chocolate, caramel, and peanut flavored. But the ones in the UK were pretty much that. To be honest, if you didn't have the candy bar name, I wouldn't have thought that it was meant to taste like a Snickers bar or a Mars bar. They kind of just taste like a chocolate caramel protein powder or a protein bar. Nothing really leaps out at you. Although the M&M's one, the M&M's protein bar, is pretty dynamite. The M&M's protein bar actually has M&M's in it, so that's pretty easy to associate with the candy itself. But yeah, see, the bar looks pretty fucking good. I will admit the bar itself is the one in the UK at
Doesn't
least.
look like on the picture.
Hey man,
Wow.
I don't know. I don't know. The one in the UK wasn't too bad. It was very similar to. It wasn't very. It was close to a Snickers bar,
I think there
mostly
is a
because of the
big difference
peanuts.
between US and UK.
Yeah, see, I don't know how this one's gonna taste. I reckon it'll be the same kind of idea, same approach. We'll
So
see.
far, you mentioned Cheney. You tried only the UK version.
Well, I mean, I tried all of the UK ones. I haven't touched this one. I don't want to buy this
Okay.
one.
Mhm.
Again, if someone hits me up and says, "Man, this thing tastes amazing," then maybe I will. But
Yeah.
I don't know. Especially when it comes to the protein bars, usually Europe does it better. So I can't imagine. And on this one, they've done pretty much the same thing with their list of the protein powder. They've got chocolate caramel. So I feel like
Yeah, I'm
it's the same
assuming
kind of.
like this is where the protein is mostly coming from because you got a little bit of caramel, a little bit of peanut, a little bit of chocolate, and then this is kind of where you're getting the
Yeah,
thrust of
it's
the protein
pretty
is.
much the same as the UK one.
Yeah.
They have the whole peanuts and caramel and chocolate coating. Um, but yeah, and the protein powder, I don't know. Like I said, I was always excited when I saw the ones in the UK, but they always ended up being just average
Flat.
chocolate flavored protein powders, and I couldn't really tell the difference between them, and nothing screamed to me Snickers. So I was always I'm not overly hyped to try this one. I may get the bar. I don't know. I don't know. But this one is obviously this story was geared towards Lukasz. Obviously, he's familiar with the ones in the UK and Europe, and from what I know, they sell like crazy.
Yeah. As far as the popularity of the bars, they sell like hotcakes. We sell tons of them, and the popularity is ridiculous, especially on the M&Ms nowadays. And once people hear about another bar that's coming from Mars, they're going nuts. So yeah, man. But to be honest, I've heard a bad feedback on the bars that were launched in US, and I talked with few of my friends in US that already picked up the not only the powder but also the bars, and they said that they're flat in flavor. They had a chance to compare them to the UK version, and the UK were a way better. I personally didn't try the US, only tried the UK. I'm not a fan. I still think that there are much better bars on the market. But if someone wants to if someone likes the Snickers or Bounty or like Mars type of a bars, then yeah, be my guest, try them. But I have a friend, and I'm always laughing when when we talk about the Mars bar, and he always say, "Fuck man, when I'm hungry, I grab a Snickers. I don't give a shit about protein." So I'm always like I'm always laughing about it, but yeah, man, that's my few cents.
Yeah,
So
or like TJ says, have like your whey protein shake and then just eat whatever the fuck you want, and it's the same
yeah,
thing.
exactly.
You get to actually enjoy the real McCoy.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what the bar tastes like, but based on that, it sounds like what I expected. I mean, nothing to write
I would
home about.
personally, I would personally buy a box of the icon, the meat based bars instead of like the Snickers
Already
bars.
grabbed them
So
meat based bars. Grabbed it as soon
yeah,
as I saw it. I was
yeah.
like 3 grams
So
of carbs. Oh my god, my
oh,
prayers have been answered.
you can
This
smash
is
the
great.
entire box, man,
I
guilt
can
free.
smash a box and not break my diet. I don't know how good that much beef on my my bowel movements were gonna go, but I mean, at least that'll be my biggest fear versus carbohydrates. So
There you go.
that's
Yeah.
good. Uh, Last story I have is for Robert, and this is, I mean, this isn't really supplement related, but it's It's a big move from the guys at Bang. You might have seen that they're doing a hard seltzer. I had heard about this because last year they gave away a Jeep. They gave away one of their Bang branded Jeeps, and they said all you have to do to enter is follow every page that this page follows. And one of the pages, one of the Instagram accounts that account followed that they asked you to go to was indeed it was Mixx, Mixx, but I had no idea what it was. And then when I googled it, it was Mixx or Fix with two X's. Either way, when I googled it, it came up a trademark for beverages, and then I saw a few stories of it linking to Seltzer, and I was like, oh shit. And then lo and behold, New Year's rolls around and they unveiled this thing. I actually think it was pretty cool how they mentioned it's caffeine free, like how they had to put on there because it's got Bang on there.
Yeah.
To put caffeine free, just to let you know. But it's a big move. I mean, probably their biggest, most diverse from Bang. They've done focused beverages. They've always stayed within that kind of sports performance functional realm. This, I would say, is their biggest, boldest move into a category far from their own. And they've held on to that, instead of just calling it Mixx, they've held on to that Bang branding, I guess, for recognition. And I imagine the same crowd that throws down 300 milligrams of caffeine in the morning is going to be maybe a similar crowd to drinking seltzer. Never had it before in my life, but you know.
Yeah, as the resident alcoholic on the panel,
Yeah, I figured this would be good for you.
it's good. I appreciate the alley-oop there, Shane. I've tried different hard seltzers because, like, one of Sandy's sisters really likes the Trulies, and then my younger sister likes some of the other, whatever the other one is called. I forgot what the White Claws. That's what it is. I've tried one or two of these, and like, so I have my proclivity is more for the hard liquor, so bourbon, whiskey, something like that. I'll do beer every now and then if it's like a good craft beer, like a stout or a porter or something, like a really dark, rich beer. I've tried these kind of things, and it reminds me of like the first thing I ever drank, which was like those old like Zimas or Smirnoff triple ices or anything like that. It's like this really weak candy kind of flavored thing. And like the White Claws I've tried now, like they're supposed to be cleaner and have less sugar than the things that I was drinking back in the day, like when I first started consuming alcohol around sophomore year of college, junior year of college, somewhere around there. It's just I'm hoping the flavor on these Bangs is better than the flavoring on the Trulies and White Claws, because those real things taste just like the flavored carbonated waters you would get, like the LaCroix or whatever other kind of just like sparkling water that's got like grapefruit essence in it or something like that. I think Bang is smart to make it 100 calories per can. They're usually good with their flavoring, so I see this being, going over well, especially with the Bang people that already drink, like you said, Shane, the the energy drinks. Electrolytes is interesting, an inclusion, just because you can kind of sell it as a healthier alcohol or something like that. I'd be curious to try, just because I've tried other flavors of Bang drinks and I've enjoyed their flavors. So I don't like hard seltzers. I much prefer a nice bourbon. But yeah, overall, I mean, it's a smart play because hard seltzers are incredibly popular right now. And I mean, Jack Owak and VPX know how to make a quick buck with beverages. So yeah, good for them for cashing in.
Yeah, I thought it was a big move. Because again, they did do the protein RT, like, their Bang Keto Coffee.
Mm-hmm.
That was kind of but it stayed within the sports realm, the keto realm and protein. This is essentially the first big entirely new thing the brand has done for the first time. I think they've diverted into a space that's not really their own. So I'll be interested to see how it does.
Yeah,
I feel like it's going to reach that same target market as their drink, though. I feel it's similar realm. So I feel like that might be why, one of the reasons they've kept their Bang branding attached, because they didn't do it for some of their other beverages.
right.
But they've done it for this one, so that kind of makes sense.
Yep. They can put Snickers on the label because it's the actual company that owns Snickers releasing the product.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Of course.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, Mars. Like I said, in the UK, they got Maltesers, Twix, Milky Way, Bounty, Mars, Snickers, M&Ms.
So it's all under
I
one
mean,
umbrella.
they kind of gone crazy over there and just touched on everything they can. But yeah, I'm still interested. I don't know if I'm gonna grab that one. I like the idea. I like the sound of it, but I don't know if it's worth me going the effort of picking up a box. I'll wait till I get back to Europe and try the better ones.
The real one. The
Awesome.
true OG.
Yeah. Well, they've changed it so many times over the years. I suppose they've had a lot of practice.
Shane, do you think that, I mean, we've seen with Bang that they pretty much the ones who started the whole thing. I mean, outside, of course, Monster and everybody else, because Monster is, I think, in their own league. But with Bang in the supplement industry, do you think other supplement companies will try to follow them like they did before?
No, I don't see many people going Seltzer route.
Okay.
That's far too of an obvious. I feel like yeah. I mean, this is going to work for Bang because they already have space in retailers and they already have the connections, the customers. They'd be like, hey, Walmart, do you want to carry our Seltzer? Like, it's very easy. I don't think even some of the sports nutrition beverage companies like Ray's, they don't really have that. They're in GNC, they're in Vitamin Shop. They're pretty sure they're in Vitamin Shop. They I don't really know if you're gonna want to get a hard seltzer from a GNC or a Vitamin Shop or like a supplement store. It's not really probably something they'll carry. So for Bang, I guess it makes sense because again, they have that huge distribution and mainstream. So it just kind of gives them the room to do it. I don't know of any. I mean, Monster would, but I doubt they'll do this. I feel like, yeah. I mean, they could, but if they did, they'd probably just make a separate brand. I reckon they just put some caffeine in it. Why not? I thought Bang would have, to be honest.
Well, they can't by law now because they had those Four Locos and a few of the other like hard drinker of those malt beverages that had caffeine and alcohol in, and there were some morons that decided to drink 6 of them in a night and died. So you're not allowed by law to mix caffeine and sell it in like a pre thing like an RTD. Although people go and do Jaeger bombs in bars all the time and have Red Bull and Jägermeister all the
I was
time.
gonna say they'll probably be on the shelf like, I don't know, maybe an aisle away from each other.
Yeah, exactly. You just can't put them in the same container. 6 feet apart, Shane. Everything's better when everything's 6 feet apart.
Seltzer distancing. Okay.
All right, gentlemen. Thank you again for your time this week. For the listeners that tuned in on the live stream, thank you for joining us as always. If you like what we're doing here, like, comment, and subscribe. If you're catching this on the replay, shoot us an email or leave a comment down below in the comment section for any topics you want us to discuss in a future episode. And we will catch you all next time on The Final Scoop.
Awesome. Thank you.
Happy New Year, guys. Yeah.
Thank you.